Oh shit. Here we go again.
All-time great weekend for me. Cats. Shout out to the Kentucky Wildcats first top 5 or top 10 victory on the road since like 1978 or something like that. Fucking damn near 50 years. Huge win. Our defense looks elite. Our offense looks terrible. But if in the SEC, if you can hold your opponents under 20 points, which the last 2 weeks, Georgia held them to 13, and Ole Miss, who is supposedly one of the juggernauts offensively, held them to 17 points. So if we can do that, I feel like we can be in any game on the schedule. We do have Kentucky has a hell of a tough schedule coming up. I think we got Texas on the road coming up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's next week. It might be the week after, but big signature win for Mark Stoops. As much as I hate that motherfucker, I mean, hey, you got to give him credit when it's due. He went for it on a big 4th down in his own territory, and look what happens. It pays off.
Yeah.
We get a human, and I don't know if you watched the end of that game, but our quarterback, Gavin Wimsatt, is our backup. We called a power run to the left. He ends up fumbling it, but the ball pops out and goes right to our tight end, who dives into the end zone. So it wasn't without luck that we, won this game. We did get a little bit lucky, but we'll take it. So
sometimes you got to get that break to win the big game.
Exactly.
Howdy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another episode of Real Conversations with Coach and Mark. We're hopping right into it because boy got to go to work. It's middle of the day. This might be the earliest we've ever recorded, to be honest.
Yeah, noon. Noon on a Thursday.
That's crazy, but I'm actually okay with it. Shaved my beard off today. Feel butt naked. It's a nice one.
Yeah. But I need to shave mine. I need to get it touched up. I wish this would fill in. It won't fill in. I've been waiting on it to fill in, but I think I'm just going to shave here, get this trimmed up.
Go to it.
Yeah.
Make yourself nasty. Well, let's hop right into it, guys. I'm sure we got plenty to talk about. As always, football runs long. We've got Thursday night football tonight. Big matchup for your Falcons. The Primetime Kirk Cousins. They're trying to break the mold.
I know. It's crazy. We were just talking about all the primetime games, standalone games they've had. They've already had the Monday night, Sunday night, now the Thursday night game. So apparently they're making a push, like you said, to get Kirk Cousins in the spotlight. And I mean, to be honest though, and I feel like even trying to be as unbiased as I can be, I feel like the Falcons are a fun team to watch because they do have young talent. They've got our defense is pretty nasty. We didn't even score an offensive touchdown last week and still was able to pull out the victory. So yeah, I think it'll be fun. The Buccaneers are a hot team right now. I know they got beat. I can't remember who they got beat by, but they had a bounce back week last week, and they looked good. Baker's been on fire, 980 yards and 8 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. That's pretty damn good.
He gave Philly the work last week, bro.
Yes, and so it's a divisional matchup. Should be fun to watch. I'm really hoping we can pull out the victory, but we are a 2-point favorite right now. So, I would like to think that we can cover, but hell, I'll just take the W.
Yeah.
1 point, 2 points, who cares?
Yeah. I think you guys are in a good position, especially if you win this game, especially coming off the Saints game. I was listening to podcast today talking like you guys are like literally an eyelash away from being 0-4, and in the same breath being 4-0.
Exactly. So, and really, honestly, from all the years that we've sucked, in the last 5 years, we've been not a great football team. That's all I really want as a fan is to just be competitive. I don't, if we have a bad record at the end of the year, at least we can say we were competitive. We were in every game. We didn't get blown out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a fun year so far. And, I mean, that all could change on a dime. So let's not get too optimistic. But
also, want to note that you're 3-1 in fantasy this year. And I'm 2-2.
Don't talk about it.
We play this week, me against you. So tune into that one.
I gotta make some moves because I'm on the predictor thing. I'm in the red, so I like to be in the green, which is not always an indicator of who's going to win, but I feel like most of the time it's close at least. So
well, I was supposed to beat Lamary or whatever last week from. It was supposed to be like 140 to 101, and it ended up being 147 to 148, and I lost.
Right, and it's like I've got Rashid Shaheed. I can't remember if he's on the Cozy and Murph League or another league, but he was projected to score like 15 points. Fucking 0. Like, come on. Can't even get one catch. Kyle Pitts projected to get like 10.5 points. 0 points.
0.
It's like, oh my gosh, dude.
Y'all gotta get him going, bro.
I know he had a good game week 1, and then he's just kind of fell off the face of the earth. That's been a big conversation amongst Falcons fans. Is he even that good though? I mean, at a certain point, it's like, you can blame the coaching and the quarterback play all you want, but at a certain point, you got to produce. He's got a quarterback now. He's got a, system. He's got a structure around him. At a certain point, you got to produce. One more side note on the fantasy thing, man. What the fuck is going on with Christian McCaffrey? I need like a compensatory pick or something. Like I need somebody to.
I think he is not going to play all year.
That's what I've been hearing. He's got tendonitis in both Achilles. He's been overseas seeing doctors in Germany, and it's like, damn, I really picked this dude number 1 overall, and he's not even going to fucking play this year. Because I read through the report on the injury before I, drafted him, and it was like, oh, he's expected to play week 1. Yeah. He's just, taking it light in training camp and preseason. And I was like, okay, he at least should play about week 2 or 3. And here we are sitting week 5 and fucking hasn't even sniffed the field.
Isn't it crazy that it's already fucking week 5?
Week 5, yes. Yeah. We're already over a quarter of the way.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I did pick up Jordan Mason, so I guess that's kind of the saving grace there. He has been a good replacement. I won't say that he is exactly a CMC, level player, but, I mean, he's been playing pretty good, so
he does
can't complain.
He does well. Who are your I don't feel like we have to go too far into all these past games, but since we're at like quarter mark, who is like your biggest shockers of the season so far?
I think you got to go number 1, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Minnesota, because, we got J.J. McCarthy was going to be the starter, and, then it was announced he was going to miss the whole year, and, Sam Darnold hasn't had a great career up until now. I mean, he's been a decent, player, but he hasn't, blown anybody away. And then for Minnesota to go 4-0 against, they beat San Francisco. Let's see, who else did they beat? They beat the Packers last week. They beat the piss out of the Packers. It was 28-0 or something at one point. But yeah, I think they're the biggest surprise right now. I think you got to go Commanders. Jaden Daniels.
That's what I was going to say.
Probably the best rookie so far he's favorite for rookie of the year right now. Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith
playing.
Yep. Baker Mayfield, another.
Yep.
another hot player right now. Yeah, I think those are really the big ones.
Yeah.
The Saints going 4-0, we all figured they would. Steelers, having a great defense that's on par for the course. So yeah, those are the surprises, the good surprises. Now,
Yeah, I was gonna say bad surprises.
the bad surprises, I would say the
49ers.
Dolphins. 40. Well, I mean, 49ers are 500, Ravens are 500. I still think
Yeah.
they're, you know, uh, championship contenders.
Yeah.
Too early in the season to write them off, but the 49ers have lost some games that they lost the Rams game and the Minnesota game. We both thought, that those are games that they were going to win. They were favored in. So yeah, the 49ers haven't been the team that they were the last couple of years. Now, I do think their defense is legit. I
Yeah.
think they have a little bit of issues on offense, but I think their defense is legit. I would say the Dolphins. I mean, they lost their quarterback, Mike McDonald. It feels like he's kind of fallen off as a play caller now. It's hard to do whenever your starter just is out for 3 or 4 weeks with a concussion. I understand that, but they were supposed to be a really good team this year. The Bengals 1-3, starting off 0-3, getting beat on Monday night by the Commanders.
Yeah.
So it's been a rocky road for Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Their defense is just awful. It's one of the worst in the league.
I feel for Burrow. He's gonna literally have to play perfect if they're gonna even be like a 500 team.
Especially in that division.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know if you can call it a surprise really, but Deshaun Watson being an absolute trash can.
Yeah.
He's like one of the highest paid players in the league. That's one of the worst contracts in football.
You could say this too. A nice surprise would be Justin Fields playing out of his mind pretty much. He's playing like turnover-free football, pushing the ball down the field, given a chance to win every week. Man, Steelers are even last week they lost obviously to the Colts, but it was a great performance, probably his best game of the season. It just
I would say that probably speaks to the incompetency of Chicago. Not being able to put a team around him. Now he's in an organization that's a perennial powerhouse. You never really think of Chicago as being a bad team. Like, you can't say they're a bad team. They might not be as good as they have been in the past, but they're 3-1 right now, and are in contention to win that division. I think they're leading that division right now, actually. So yeah, Justin Fields, he's not a bad player. He just looked bad because he didn't have the coaching that he had, in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Jaguars 0-4. I don't really think that's a surprise to anybody, though. I mean, we talked about it before the season started. We thought they were going to take a big step back.
No, the Jags look bad.
They look like they might be the worst team in the league right now.
No. Yeah, I'd put them there. And it's crazy too because they do have good pieces, but I think it comes down to like Trevor Lawrence is fallen into the bottom tier quarterback category. Like, he is bottom, probably bottom 5 quarterback play.
For sure. I mean, he's missing wide open receivers.
Yeah.
And it's like not even close. Like, he's overthrowing them. That one interception he threw against the Bills was absolutely awful. I could have thrown that pass.
Yeah.
And it's just, man, I guess you could say the Panthers, you can make a case for Andy Dalton and the Panthers, being at least competent.
Yeah. Well, they have offensive pieces. It was just, I felt like Bryce is just, I feel like he's just lost, bro.
I feel like he's one of those guys that needed to set his first couple years and he didn't get the opportunity. So,
yeah.
I mean, he has talent. Obviously, he went to Alabama, won a Heisman, won, championships or a championship. And So it's not like he can't play ball. He just, for one, he's little. So you're gonna have to tailor your offense in that way to kind of get him opportunities where he doesn't have to stand back in the pocket. He can kind of get out of the pocket like a Kyler, like a Russell Wilson back when he was playing well. So yeah, I think he might. It might just be a symptom of being a Panthers quarterback because you look at Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. They were both on the Panthers, 2 years ago, and you look at them now; they're having a resurgence of their career.
Yeah.
So it could just be a bad organization. I would say.
I say Bryce will get another shot somewhere else. I think they're gonna he's gonna walk. He's gonna get a.
He'll at least be a backup. I think he's like a Tyrod Taylor type.
Yeah.
I would say that's his floor. He could be a Tyrod Taylor. Now, he might be able to be better than that, but he'll have to get in the right system, like I said.
Yeah, I agree. Another, my last kind of surprise too is, and this is tailoring to my Eagles bias, is the picture that you sent me of Mahomes and Hurts stats side by side. And Mahomes has not played well. I mean,
no.
6 touchdowns, 5 picks.
Not by any stretch of the imagination has he played good even.
The
He's
fact
played good enough to win, let's put it that way.
The fact that they're 4-0 is, I feel like they're saving grace. If they were 2-2 like Philly, they'd be like, well, Mahomes has got to be better. But
right. That's
Philadelphia surprises. I guess you can't even call this a surprise because everybody sees it coming. But Sirianni's probably got to go, bro.
I think this might be his last year, especially if y'all don't make the playoffs. He's obviously lost the locker room. I think the Super Bowl run that they had, he's a rah-rah guy, so they played on a high emotion. And I feel like that's kind of worn down, especially with the way the last year ended, when it, ending on what was like a 5-game losing streak or something like that. And it kind of, the hyper, emotional, hyper motivational, rah-rah type coaches can work in the league. But once things, in the same way that like Mike McDaniel, his coaching style is more laid back and happy-go-lucky. But when things aren't going well, it looks worse and it can become toxic, And so I feel like that is the biggest issue in Philly right now is these players. I don't know that they're behind the coach like they should be. I think they like Jalen Hurts. I think it's not a quarterback issue. Yes, he could play better, but I think it's more of the players are not bought into the system, the message, the program, if you will.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't. It's becoming more and more apparent. Like, what does he bring to the team?
Right, because he's not in charge of the offense. He's not in charge of the defense. I guess maybe special teams or something like that. I don't know.
No,
like it's not clear.
Everything that he does, our quarterback already does in motivation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Hurts is a motivational leader. Like leader of men. We don't need two of those guys. We need schemers. We need guys. I need you to draw something up to get guys open and to make a stop.
And that's the thing. He kind of reminds me of Dan Campbell, but Dan Campbell uses the same style, I feel like, but he always brings the blame back to himself.
Exactly.
Like if you listen to his press conferences, he's always talking about what he could have done better as a coach. And
he's
Sirianni,
like, I didn't prepare them,
right. And Sirianni feels more like, oh well, the reason why we didn't win is because this and that. Yeah. Instead of saying I need to be better as a coach,
And Philly's a place too where they'll eat him a lot.
Oh yeah, fuck y'all kicked out Doug Peterson after he won you a Super Bowl. So it's like nobody except for Big Dom. Can't get rid of Big Dom.
You know what I think?
Everybody else is expendable.
I think there'll be some talks if it gets worse about what's it going to take to grab a guy like Bill Belichick, come in and be the face of it.
Oh, him and Vrabel and guys like that are chomping at the bit. I feel like they're just waiting. Because if you listen to like the way Bill Belichick talks, he's always giving compliments out, saying that. So it's almost like a pre-interview, or like this is because he talks about Dallas. I could see if McCarthy gets fired this year, I could see Belichick going to Dallas and having that defensive roster with the offensive talent. I mean, that would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be some coaching changes coming this year. I think Eberflus, if the Bears don't play well, I think he could be on his way out. Dable at the Giants, he could be another one on the way out. So yeah, there's going to be some coaching vacancies at the end of this year for sure.
No, I agree.
Doug 100%. Peterson in Jacksonville, he could be on his way out too.
I don't feel like that's a desirable job. I feel like the Panthers job and the Jaguars job are like the two least desirable jobs probably in football. It's like your owners are incompetent and your organizations are like essentially busts or failures in the most part. I wouldn't be shocked too if the Bears head coach is going to end up on the hot seat too. What's his name?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Eberflus, he could be, because they've got all the talent. So now you have no excuse to not win. Robert Saleh in New York,
I don't think he even wants to be there, to be honest. I
mean, there's no fucking reason they should have lost that game.
Yeah.
I can't even remember who they played, but they were in. Yes, Denver. They were in position to win 10-9. All you have to do is get in field goal range, which they did get in field goal range, but kicker ends up missing it. It was just an absolute rock fight the entire fucking game. So yeah. One thing, this is kind of a side note. They were talking about this on Pardon My Take. There's only like 4 or 5 organizations that are actively trying to win a Super Bowl, and the rest of them are just trying to make money, basically.
Yeah.
So, like, on the off chance you might, on the odd year you might have a good team, then yeah, we'll push to win a Super Bowl. But if we don't feel like we can having a legit chance to win that year, it's just like, well, let's not do too much. Let's just make our money back or make our money, and then we'll see what happens next year. But like, I feel like that's the attitude a lot. Like, you can feel it though with a lot of these organizations.
Yeah. As soon as you start off like 0-3 or 1-4, it's like you can almost see teams just basically like
pack it in.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you know that the Panthers are, they say they're trying, but more or less they're protecting their investment in Bryce Young. It's like maybe the Bengals are still trying to fight, but it's more so to justify what they paid in Burrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, make their money back. Dolphins are more likely punting, Patriots punting, Browns will probably be punting at this point. It's like there's a lot of teams already in tough positions.
Right. And that's the thing about football, is every game means so much because you only play once a week. So
yeah,
it is hard once you dig a hole for yourself.
Yeah.
It's hard to get out. So
what do you think about this Devontae Adams stuff? You think?
Oh, he's wanted. I think he has wanted out of Las Vegas since they got rid of Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Because you watch that Netflix show, he was talking about he needs to get the fuck out of there. He was talking about that on the sideline whenever Garoppolo was the quarterback. So I think he has wanted to get out for a while. I think he'll go to a contender because he is a receiver that is getting a little bit up there in age, and he wants to win a Super Bowl. He's made his money. He wants a ring now, and I feel like that's like the last thing on his checklist is to win a Super Bowl, and then so I mean, I could see him going to, God forbid, the Chiefs.
Yeah.
They are in desperate need of a number one receiver right now, especially after Rashee Rice went down. I don't know. I saw some stuff about the Falcons, maybe
Jets, Saints.
Yeah, Jets link up with Aaron Rodgers again. Yeah, Saints to be with Derek Carr. So there is some landing spots for him. I think it's gonna. If I'm Las Vegas, I'm not taking anything less than a second, and depending on who you're trading with and who's on the roster, it's going to have to be a top 5 guy on their roster and probably at least a second round pick.
Or like a third round pick with incentive to where if he plays 80% snaps or some crazy shit like that, it'd boost up to a second.
Right.
It'd be something like that. But I feel like that's
I feel like one name we do have to mention.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, the king, Tractor Cito, absolutely ran all over the Bills last week. It was crazy. He had like 35 fantasy points for me.
Yeah.
He's the leading rusher, I think, through 4 games so far.
480 yards.
Yep. 80 carries, 480.
Yeah.
480 yards, 5 touchdowns. I think since he came into the league, he has the most rush yards of anybody.
Yeah. He's like one of those guys that's as soon as he retires, he's going to be like first chance,
ballot.
First chance get in Hall of Fame.
I do think he could be, obviously you got like Josh Allen and Lamar and, all these quarterbacks, but if the Ravens are able to make a deep playoff push and Henry continues his production, he could make a case for him to win MVP this year.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, there's some off the wall characters too early on. Obviously, it's only a quarter way through the season, but like you could say Sam Darnold has an MVP case right now. You could say Baker Mayfield has an MVP case right now. You could say, you could say Daniels has a chance right now. Daniels has a chance. Fuck, CJ Stroud's going to be in the mix.
Yeah, but I mean, I know a quarterback is more than likely going to win it, but I would love to see a running back or a receiver win it. I would like to see, Justin Jefferson, he's put up fucking ridiculous numbers.
Yeah.
He does year in and year out. So, it's going to be interesting to see, the MVP race.
Yeah.
But
it's been exciting.
Yeah.
Been exciting. I'm happy that football's here. I know this is like we're talking past, obviously. So this is all the football that we have up to this point. We can dive into the week that's coming. Obviously, we talked about Bucks Falcons, which is tonight. I'm gonna try and push this out, get this out for everybody, a little more digestible. We also got, I think this I heard also on part of my take. I know we bring them up a lot, but this is the weekend too where you go out and go on a date with your your significant other. You punt on watching football because
there's not a lot of. There's not a lot of really, notable matchups.
Yeah.
I guess
though is the big college football slate.
Yep. October 13th.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge one. I
will say, I guess the marquee matchup this week is probably Bills Texans. I would say.
That's what I was going to say.
Bills Texans. That seems like the best matchup. Everything else, there's nothing too, obviously I'm going to watch because I love watching football, but if I'm just a casual fan and I'm just looking for a good game to keep my eye on, it'd probably be Bills Texans.
Yeah, I'd say Bills Texans, Steelers Cowboys will be a good watch. Saints Chiefs will probably be a good watch. Aside from that, you got interdivision, Raiders Broncos, but Bills Chiefs 1:00 slate to kick off your Sunday is going to be a fun game to watch. There's a lot of boring games. The Birds are on bye this week, so I get to indulge without having to be completely invested.
Right.
Emotionally invested. I'm going to watch tonight. I think tonight will be one of the big games of the week. Who you got this week?
And what do you mean
with Bucks Falcons tonight?
I got Falcons. I'm going to ride with my boys. We have a good team this year. I gotta not be negative Nancy. I gotta, I believe we are a good team, and I feel like we can win this game. This is a winnable game for us.
I got Falcons too. I'm hoping for I'm hoping it's a banger of a game, like one of them back and forth. Like
I mean, every game so far this year for the Falcons has been an absolute, banger. So
I know I'm off work tonight, so I kind of get to actually sit down and enjoy Thursday night football. I haven't had that, I feel like, in a couple weeks. So I'm going to sit down. I'm going to turn the TV on, make Kayla watch some football with me, have that exciting moment. Now, we got Sunday. We'll go ahead and just roll off some picks here for this upcoming week because we kind of rolled through matchups and stuff like that. Let's go. Oh, Sunday we have a 9:30 London game, which is in Tottenham. The Vikings 4-0 going to London. Got the Jets going out there with them. Who you got? You think Vikings can keep up 5-0?
I think Vikings continue to roll. I think the Jets, I feel like they're in trouble because Aaron Rodgers he's always been a malcontent, but he seems just like he hates it there.
Yeah.
It feels like he doesn't trust his defense. He doesn't trust Robert Salah, and it's like everything is just so negative, and you know how quickly, things can turn toxic whenever you have a quarterback who is just ready to. I don't know if you watched the press conference, but he basically just threw Salah under the bus.
Yeah.
With the whole cadence thing, and because they had like 5 false start penalties, so I feel like there is some discordance there. It's going to be the Vikings are rolling right now. I feel like maybe the travel time might have a little bit of an effect, but if you're a professional, you're going to be ready to play no matter where and when. So I feel like the Vikings win that one.
Yeah, I'm going to take Vikings here, but I will say I won't be shocked if the Jets find a way to pull one off. It's a big, long flight, and the Jets got a lot of drama, too, on that defensive side. I think they're good.
That's what I'm saying. Hassan Reddick has still not played a game. And they apparently, he's got a contract dispute. Yeah, he's one of the better pass rushers in the league, and they still haven't got him on the field yet. So
we'll see what they bring. Now, 1:00 slate kicks off, and we got Panthers going up to Chicago to play the Bears. Caleb Williams has not looked spectacular. Obviously, they've got trouble in paradise with their offensive line, but I feel like the Bears pull this one off.
This is a sneaky spot, I think, for the Panthers. I feel like, if Andy Dalton can replicate what he did against Las Vegas a couple weeks ago, I feel like the Bears are vulnerable. Yeah, they're not world beaters. I mean, they have a good roster and everything, but they haven't put it all together yet. So Chicago's a 4-point favorite. I would say the Panthers cover here. They might not win, but I would say they can cover.
Field goal. Yeah, they've got it at Chicago -4 here. I'd say, yeah, you're within at least a touchdown. Especially Andy Dalton was slinging it. You know what I'm saying? Like he looked. I mean, the red rifle is red rifling, so I could see it being a close game. But with DeAndre Swift coming on this last week, he showed out last week. I think the Bears are trying to find their identity. And Caleb's realizing, like, oh, this isn't Pac-12. I can't. This is grown men. So let me hit my check downs real quick.
It could go totally opposite of what I'm talking about, and it could be a breakout game for Williams, and he finally puts it together and leads them to a big win.
Yeah,
I mean, this is definitely a winnable game for the Bears. This is one that you mark on your schedule as a scheduled win. But in the NFL, you can't really do that because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I like that. All right, also on the 1:00 slate, we have Ravens-Bengals. I feel like this is probably must-win territory for the Bengals.
Yeah.
Like you've got to win this game. But also in the same breath, I feel like it's also must-win for the Ravens, too. Like this might be a tough game.
This is a high-stakes game for both teams. Loser leaves town, as they say. Not, to piggyback off those guys. But, Bengals at home, desperate. But, interdivisional game. Ravens have an absolute tank in the backfield with, the duo of Lamar and Derrick Henry. So Bengals don't have a great defense, so I could see this. I can see the Ravens rolling right here.
Yeah.
I mean, they just rolled the Bills on Monday night. You know, it's a short week for them, but sometimes that can be an advantage. So
yeah,
I'd say Ravens.
I'd say Ravens too, but I am pulling for the Bengals to kind of pick it up and figure things out. I love Joe Burrow. I love what they got going on there. But in the same breath, I also think they're one of them franchises that is very incompetent at most times. 1 o'clock slate, we still have Dolphins, Patriots. This is probably one of the uglier games on the schedule. Fuck.
I'm going Patriots. I don't have a lot to say. Dolphins don't have a quarterback. And yeah, pretty much it. There's not really much analysis to give on that one. It's two garbage teams.
The only thing that could be the saving grace for the Dolphins is if Tyler Huntley gets incorporated with the offense better and figures things out. But I'm going to go Dolphins here. We'll be different on that one. I'm going to go Dolphins and say they get another one. 1 o'clock slate, we got Cleveland Browns going to Washington to play the Commanders. Commanders have been absolutely hot. I don't know that Jaden Daniels has played a defense as good as the Browns, but I also don't know that the Browns have seen anybody move quite like Jaden Daniels can.
That's true.
So this might be something where the Commanders have been good. They're figuring out. Brian Robinson has absolutely been a unit too in their backfield. The Browns, I just feel like they're just not good, bro.
They're not good. Deshaun Watson is not good. Like Amari Cooper, he's checked out. He doesn't want to be there. They don't really have a big running game, really. Washington's a 3-point favorite at home. But this is a game. This could be a get right game for the Browns because, you know,
they've got Nick Chubb coming back here probably a week or two.
Commanders eventually have to come back down down to earth. I could see this being a close game. I think I'm going to go with the Browns. I would love to see the Commanders just have an absolute awesome year. I like Jaden Daniels. I'm rooting for Jaden Daniels. But I think I'm going to go with the Browns. My gut's telling me Browns here.
Yeah, I'm going to say Browns too. I like the idea that there might be some optimism in there with their big back coming back and the locker room's kind of changing pace, and they're saying, you know what, if we lose this game, we're fucking done.
Also, I think if you lose this game, you got to start thinking about, depending on how Watson plays, let's give Jameis Winston a look. Let's see what he looks like.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that he was a starter.
Yeah.
Yes, he might have thrown 30 interceptions in 1 year, but he also threw 30 touchdowns. So let him. I mean, what do you got to lose? You know, You're going to be. If you lose this game, you're 1-4. You might as well see what you got. You know,
at least Jameis is going to try and take the top off.
He's going to sling it, dude. He's not going to give one single fuck who catches it.
I love Jameis. I hope that he does come on strong. That would be fun to watch. All right, 1 o'clock slate, we have Colts Jaguars. Joe Flacco, I think, is starting in place, and I'm just going to take the Colts.
Yeah, I'm going to go Colts here as well. Desperation time for Jaguars. They're playing for their jobs right now.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what Flacco can do if he can keep up this magical, late career resurgence of just, being a fucking backup merchant where he just waits for the starter to get hurt and then goes in there and reels off, 3 or 4 wins. I'd like to see the Colts win just because, it's cool to see what Flacco's doing. I do have concerns about his mobility. He is older. Yeah. So if the Jags can get pressure on him, it's going to be a long day.
The Jags, this is do or die for the Jags. It's like you're going to start looking at a lot of things.
Peterson is definitely, you start 0-5. I mean,
your season's in a row. You might as well start seeing what you got.
You might as well, you might as well call the U-Haul because you're going to be on the move.
Sitting players, yeah. All right, last listed game in the 1 o'clock slate is the big one, the Bills and Texans. I think Bills obviously need to get right. Texans have been, they're not going to have Tank Dell. We don't know if they're going to have Joe Mixon. Nico Collins has been fucking out of his mind, 489 yards and receiving. I want to say the Bills get right, but this is a close game. Buffalo's only 1-point favorite. I think this will be a banger of a game. I think I'm going to take the Bills though.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm going to go with Houston here.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a hell of a matchup either way. But yeah, I like CJ Stroud in this spot. I know Josh Allen is having a hell of a season, but so is CJ Stroud, and I think he has the better weapons. So we'll see what the Texans defense can do to stop Josh Allen. And James Cook, also another, big weapon for him this year. But I think the Texans can find a way to score enough points to win this game.
Okay. I like that. All right, that's our 1 o'clock slate. We got 4:05 starts. Raiders going to Denver to play the Broncos.
I'm going Raiders here.
Yeah.
Going Raiders. I feel like Antonio Pierce made it clear this is nut cutting time. If you don't want to fucking be here, then get the fuck out. I mean, They set their best 2 players last week, ended up still winning. So it's like, hey, if you're not with us, we don't need you, And I think Mike Crosby might legitimately be hurt, but I don't think Devontae Adams. I feel like he's just ready to go.
He's going to be like Forrest Gump. As soon as he gets traded, the brackets are going to come off the legs, and he's going to be magically.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that meme. Fucking yeah. So I think the Raiders roll here. Realistically, the Broncos should be 1-3 because they should have dropped that game to the Jets last week. Bo Nix has not looked good. Has not looked good at all. He's played well enough to win 2 games, but I think the Raiders come away with the victory in this one.
I like the Raiders too. Like I said, like you said, I think AP's kind of pulling together. He's like, I want guys who want to win. I think he's trying to. It's nut cut time in AP's office. Also in that 4:05 slate, we have the Cardinals going to San Francisco to play the 49ers. Cardinals have been scrappy, but I feel like they've got a lot of inconsistencies. I think the 49ers are, reeling. They're trying to figure things out, but they're the better team. Jordan Mason has been great in replacement. Juwan Jennings has come on strong.
I would go as far to say that you could make a case for this to be a must win for the Niners.
Yeah.
It's a divisional game. You're 2-2. You've dropped 2 games to teams that you should have beat, the Rams and the Vikings. Or, on paper you should have beat.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are 1-3. You lose this game, you're sitting at 2-3, and you've got to dig yourself out because you're looking up at the Seahawks at 3-1, and you've also got a team that's already beat you in the Rams. You lose to the Cardinals. That's going to put you in a tight spot.
Yeah.
So I feel like they are 7.5-point favorite. The Cardinals defense is not good. So I would say Niners win here. Yeah. I would go as far as say Niners win and cover.
Yeah. 7.5. I could see that too. 10-14, somewhere in there. I think we'll see some offense in this game, but I think we'll see more offense from the 49ers. 4:25 slate, we got Packers traveling out west to play the Rams. The Rams are very short-handed. I don't think they're going to get anybody back this week. I think a week to kind of get Jordan Love back on track. Josh Jacobs full health. I'd say Packers roll here.
Yeah, another tough spot that the Packers are in because they lost Jordan Love in the first game, win 2 with Malik Willis, and then they lost last week against Minnesota. So this is kind of they need this one bad, and the Rams do too. But I feel bad for Matt Stafford because this might be his last year. Who knows? We'll see. But it just sucks to see all everybody get hurt, and it's just they're just playing desperate football. They're just trying to find a way to survive. And I feel like the Packers, they have the better roster right now. just because of injuries. So yeah, I'm gonna go Packers.
I'm with Packers here. Last game in the 425 slot, we got Giants going out west to play the hot Seahawks. I say Seahawks also roll here, cover. I do like that Singletary. You know, his. I've always been a Singletary guy. A couple years ago, I had him in fantasy. He's carried. He carries every year. But Geno Smith, what he's doing, he looks great. I don't know if Malik Neighbors is at full health. I don't know if Singletary is at full health, and if it's down to just Daniel Jones. I don't
Yeah, I'm not betting on that horse. I'm taking Seahawks.
Yeah.
I'm taking Seahawks. They're gonna want to get back in the win column after getting their tail stomped on Monday night by Detroit. So yeah, I think Seahawks grow here.
Yeah. All right. Sunday night prime time, we have the Dallas Cowboys traveling to Pittsburgh, the two most annoying fan bases in the world. Throw you guys
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I'm gonna throw you guys a bone there and at least give you guys the recognition you deserve. I think the Cowboys are looking here saying, yeah, we really need this win to get above 500. But I think that Steelers defense is fucking out of this world, dude. And they don't have no run game for Dallas. It's essentially non-existent. And the secondary of the Steelers is great. I like the Steelers here, and this is like a staple game for Justin Fields to really just solidify that this is his job.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with everything you said there. I think Steelers probably win this one, probably if 9-15 game, 9-14, something low scoring. I feel like because the Steelers, they for all intents and purposes, they do not put up points. They play, it's like the old school fucking Steelers in the modern days. Run the ball, play clock, control the clock, manage the time, put time of possession, play solid defense, get out of there with a field goal win. So yeah, I'm going Steelers. Cowboy. I don't really have a lot to say on the Cowboys. Dak, he's playing well, but he always does in the regular season.
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy, and that's the thing, going into this game, Mike McCarthy is going to make some type of dumbass fucking decision, and it's going to result in a momentum swing or some type of something of that effect. So yeah, I'm going to go Steelers here.
I got you on there. All right, and then Monday night primetime game, we got the New Orleans Saints traveling out to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. 4-0 Chiefs. Saints trying to get back on track, falling 2-2. Their offense started super hot. They've kind of come back to earth, but I feel like the Saints are more healthy. They're healthier, I should say. And it's like, at what point does the injuries catch up with the Chiefs?
It has to eventually. Patrick Mahomes, he even, by his own admission, has said that he is not playing good football right now. So, they just lost their best receiver, probably out for the season, in Rashee Rice. They don't have Pacheco. Travis Kelce is an absolute fucking dead man walking out there. He hasn't done anything. And who knows, this might be a spot where he has a breakout game of the season and puts up, 8 receptions for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns or something. That wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. But I think the Saints are a good team. I got to give them their props. They played Atlanta very, very well. Very close game. Came down to a last-second field goal. Shout out Younghoe Koo. But yeah, I could see the Chiefs. They're vulnerable right now. I could see the Chiefs dropping this one. And it's not the end of the world, but they're, like you said, they are very injured right now. And like you said, the Saints, they really don't have any notable injuries. I think their defense is they're getting old on the defensive end. They do have weapons, but we'll see. I like the Saints here.
Yeah, I agree.
It's hard to bet against Mahomes, though. It's hard to bet against Mahomes, but
yeah, I might put something on Saints to cover because I think they got a real chance here. Pull something out of a hat and upset one of the few remaining undefeated teams. I feel like that's everything. That's the week 5 slate right there. Got 4 teams on bye, so two less games that we get to enjoy the first bye of the season for pretty much for the NFL. We do have last thing to kind of touch on before we wrap on out of here. The MLB playoffs have started, and congratulations to the New York Mets on making the playoffs and getting
Yeah.
getting it. You said they were
They
going to
lo-
get swept. They didn't get swept.
Well, they got beat last night on a late home run, 2-run
Yeah.
bomb. They play again tonight.
Yep, 7:00.
So it's do or die right now, boys. And win or lose, I'm still going to be proud of this team for the way that they had that late season, comeback and they were dead in the water, like you said, at the All-Star break. Pretty much everybody, me included, was writing them off.
Yeah.
Francisco Lindor is a beast. And they play with a lot of heart and passion, and they might not be the best team on paper, but like I said earlier about the Falcons, just be competitive, go out there, give it your all, and fucking lay it all on the line, and that's all you can do at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
I feel like this should be one of the prouder seasons as a Mets fan that you've had in recent years.
It's been hard since, we did go to the World Series back in 2015, but hell, that was 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's been really, really bad. We've had multiple collapses in the second half of the season. So it's good to finally just be like, man, I can be proud to be a Mets fan.
Yeah.
For once, it might not be for long, but it is fun. Detroit Tigers.
Yeah.
Fucking, they are rolling. They beat the Astros, swept the Astros.
Baseball.
They're a team you do not want to see in the AL playoffs. So it's going to be fun to watch. I think October is one of the more fun months of the year when it comes to sports because, you've got the NFL in full swing. You've got MLB playoffs starting. You've got the NBA's ramping up, preseason and all that. So, yeah, it's good. Good time to be a sports fan. I do want to say before we go, I have to give us all-time great weekend for me. Cats. Shout out to the Kentucky Wildcats. First top 5 or top 10 victory on the road since like 1978 or something like that. Fucking damn near 50 years. Huge win. Our defense looks elite. Our offense looks terrible. But if, in the SEC, if you can hold your opponents under 20 points, which the last 2 weeks, Georgia held them to 13, and Ole Miss, who is supposedly one of the juggernauts offensively, held them to 17 points. So if we can do that, I feel like we can be in any game on the schedule. We do have Kentucky has a hell of a tough schedule coming up. I think we got Texas on the road coming up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's next week. It might be the week after, but big signature win for Mark Stoops. As much as I hate that motherfucker, hey, got to give him credit when it's due. He went for it on a big 4th down in his own territory, and look what happens. It pays off. Yeah. We get a human, and I don't know if you watched the end of that game, but our quarterback, Gavin Wimsatt, is our backup. We called a power run to the left. He ends up fumbling it, but the ball pops out and goes right to our tight end who dives into the end zone. So it wasn't without luck that we, won this game. We did get a little bit lucky, but we'll take it. So
sometimes you got to get that break to win the big game.
Exactly. You got Cats win Saturday. Falcons win Sunday. Mets win Monday and Tuesday. So that was a hell of a good stretch for me. It's been a fun ride, and like I said, my dreams are probably going to be crushed. So I'm getting prepared for that mentally. But
I hope they win tonight, and you gotta keep on both your teams win tonight, and you're just on a roll.
Yeah, and I just gotta keep sweating every fucking night. Yeah, I love it.
Lord. All right, we got nothing crazy. biggest ranked matchup is number 9 Missouri against 25 A&M. Nothing crazy football wise. Like I said, the next week it's big.
We did see an all-time classic as well. Georgia, Alabama. That was fucking insane. Georgia goes down, or Alabama goes up 28 points in the first quarter. I turned it off because I was like, dude, I gotta work tonight. I'm not finna, waste my time watching this blowout. And then on the way into work, I look at the score and they're only down 15 or 18 or whatever it was. So I was like, looks like they're making a comeback. And then that fourth quarter was one of the best quarters of football I've ever watched. Like, just as far as back and forth excitement. Ryan Williams is him. Let's just go ahead and put it out there. Ryan Williams is him. He's going to be a future number 1 pick, I think. Yeah. Jalen Milroe's a stud. I don't know how well of an NFL quarterback he'll be, but I mean, in college, he's a fucking monster. So props to Kalen DeBoer. I think that was a big signature win because, being the new head coach, following in, Nick Saban's footsteps, he's got a lot of big shoes to fill, and you go in and beat the number 2 team in the nation like that, and, you can beat anybody. So yeah. Hell of a weekend for college football.
Yeah. Well, it has been incredible doing football. Good conversation. I feel like we steamrolled this and got time done. I know you're heading into work, so be safe to you, brother. Have a good shift. Go Falcons.
All right, we'll do.
Go Mets.
Yes. One last thing I do want to mention. We're going to Gulf Shores next week, so okay. I'll probably bring the MacBook and I'll bring my wireless headphones, and we can do it like that.
Okay.
And so yeah, I mean, I'll still be able to record next week at some point. I mean, I'll have all the time, because I'll be off work. So just whenever is good for you, my boy. So
yeah, just let me know. We'll figure something out. I'm out of town weekend 17th. It's like Thursday through Sunday, so I'll try to get something in before that too. We'll coordinate something, but everybody be on the lookout. Stay in touch, like, comment, share, subscribe, tell your mom, your friends about us. Let's make it happen. All right, brother. Good conversation. Appreciate you hopping on in the middle of the day.
No problem.
We love you. We appreciate you guys. Peace.
Peace.